what about this word sustainability? You've lived with it for a long time. What do you think about it?
Yeah. So I have a few things to say about that. On the one hand, it's the most perfect word in the word. Sustainable, not sustain guaranteed. So right away, you get the sense that there is some capability there, some competency that's required if you want to thrive over time. So some things are sustainable and some things are not. So the first question you want to ask is, what do we want to sustain, for whom, and for how long, and what does education have to do with that? So that's one way of answering the question. On the other hand, my dad was in advertising, and when I came home and explained to him I was moving from global education to education for sustainability, he said, sustainability, Jaime, it'll never sell. So it's apparently a difficult word for people.
And
It's
why?
got a lot
Why
of
is it
syllables. I think it's new. It's part of a new paradigm. So there are a few very concrete reasons why it's difficult for people, besides that it has a lot of syllables. One is that in order to care about sustainability, one would have to recognize unsustainability. Because if there's no such thing as unsustainability, there's no need for a sustainable something. So it already makes people feel nervous. And they don't distinguish unsustainability from sustainability. So when they say, oh, we teach sustainability, what they really mean is we're teaching kids that the situation is unsustainable. That's not the same thing at all. That's not what we do. We are preparing kids and teachers and adults for the future we want, because that's not where we're headed. So we only use the idea of unsustainability as the rationale for why we have to change direction. But we don't, the more you concentrate on the problem, the more you reinforce the thinking that caused the problem. So if we want to be, if you look at the Smithsonian website, they will tell you, and many other scientists will tell you, that only 1% of the species that have ever lived on planet Earth are still here, which means that 99% were unsustainable. Now, they might have had a 30 billion year run, but they're not here anymore. And 1% is still here. The horseshoe crabs have been here 450 million years. What are they doing right? We can learn a lot from those species that know how to be resilient and thrive and develop mutually beneficial relationships and contribute to the regenerative capacity of the systems upon which they depend. In our case, it's the social and physical systems upon which we depend. And so I love the word. People have always trying to get me to change my use of it. Well, let's just call it flourishing or thriving, and I love those words too. I want to flourish and thrive. All of that's great. What I like about the word sustainability is that embedded in it is the notion of thresholds. The problem is not everybody gets that. So if we come up with a better word, I'm happy to use it. Consilience wasn't really a better choice. And I haven't heard anybody come up with a better one yet, that actually helps you to see that there are constraints that can drive creativity, there are thresholds, and there is a competency that it's not a guarantee that we can thrive. We don't have a guaranteed seat on Spaceship Earth. We have to work for it. E.O. Wilson says we have what it takes because we have consciousness, but we actually have to use it and try and really study what it takes to thrive indefinitely on this planet. I like the definition of sustainability, that is, human and other life will flourish on Earth forever. That's John Ehrenfeld's. And Dana Meadows says sustainability is a society that is far-seeing enough, wise enough, and flexible enough not to undermine either its social or physical systems of support. I like to flip that and say we're wise enough, etc., to contribute to the regenerative capacity of the social and physical systems upon which we depend. That's what makes you sustainable.